Alrighty, so my fellow lobotomites, who, people have been following this for a while and know the fucking fine mechanics very well, know exactly what my mistake was in that one. She immediately starts all of those dark meltdowns all over the fucking place, so that was my issue, was I wasn't making her vulnerable for the rabbit team to annihilate. And unfortunately, that got me killed. I think Hakma might, and I'm going to very loosely say this, might allow me to start pausing starting on Meltdown 5. If I was reading that properly, it said that you're able to pause at that point. But I think when you do pause, it still does, like, the craziness with everybody. So, in the worst case scenario, I might pause when 5 starts again, and then send people off to do works as needed, since obviously my performance didn't fucking allow me to do that before. The other problem that I was having with that Meltdown as well was the fact that, once again, we had noons right on Meltdown 5, so going back over to, I sound like a broken record by this point, but random number generation. That's what it do. Nothing about that shit was remotely fair, what just happened. It was all just a clusterfuck all right there that just happened. So hopefully we can get, like, noons done by Meltdown 5, or it just never happens. But I don't see us being able to get through that very easily in that circumstance. But that's the biggest problem that we have right there, is we need to send people to get into those rooms immediately when she pops out. Otherwise, Rabbit Team is not going to be able to, they can't do their thing. It's just, this is a fucking terrible, like, combination of meltdowns and things that you need to do. They all are a terrible combination with one another. Wow, I can't English today, god damn it. Fucking A. Like, a lot of them just don't really fucking synergize well with one another, but, like, this one in particular is just, whew, boy. It kind of begs the question, though, did they actually choose it so that all of these meltdowns were meant to mix upon one another at the end, or was that just something that was shoehorned in at the last minute for difficulty? I'm kind of leaning towards the second, but I don't know. I don't know what the developers were thinking with things. I'm not going to pretend like I do. We're also probably going to have to leave 2 people. That's the other thing that also lucked out, unfortunately, too. I never knew that she could trigger meltdowns immediately in her fucking department, so that's news to me. So I'm going to need to keep people in the goddamn department just in case, because I could get fucked over in case she triggers a meltdown in the department, so I can't just immediately lock it down. I'm probably not going to immediately lock it down, though, anyway, because it's just gonna waste the health bars of the rabbits. So, like, all in all, this whole entire thing that we're doing right here, this whole day is an incredibly reactive day, as is already implied because of the lack of control over the time. Now I'm really curious, like, was I just lucky with her not ever doing meltdowns in Extraction? Or is she actually not supposed to do them in Extraction after it's locked down by the rabbits, that is? Because, like, I genuinely want to know the answer of that now. Now, we can pause at the risk of somebody's life. I knew that was going to happen. Buttercup. Cameron's gonna go insane if he goes in there. That's the thing. He's going to go insane. Oh my fucking god, this thing too. Yeah, people are gonna die over there. Yeah, there it is. There it is. We're gonna do that. Because I need a fucking moment to think. I need a goddamn moment to think. So I think the only thing I need to keep my eye on right now is Holly. I need to make sure that Holly doesn't fucking get people killed. If I'm understanding this right. Oh, Kodo went insane. Oh, fuck. That's not a good. It's actually probably one of the worst people that could have gone insane. If I'm being honest with you. Considering that I need Chelsea to go in there, and I'm probably going to wind up needing Shib to go inside of Blue Star. So, this room is my top priority right now. As well as... Oh my god, I don't have anybody going into here. Tasha. So Tasha's got to go in there and then immediately get set for another work. I would like to have Cameron not go insane, but low on the priority list here. I gotta pay attention to this room, because this could get me fucked really badly. I would like to stop Kodo, and to stop Holly, if at all possible, but I will 100% execution bullet the fucking both of them if I have to. Is Michael still insane? No, he's dead. And you're probably gonna die too, huh? Yeah, because that thing has to be right in the middle of the fucking hallway. Oh my god, dude. RNG! This right here, this. RNG. Fucking RNG. Don't fucking anybody ever tell me that it is misguided, that I am just complaining about nothing. That's horseshit. Like, that's complete horseshit, and I'm gonna kill Cameron if he calls me in the middle of a fucking recording session one more time. You went that way, you dumb bitch. Cool. Alright, well, I guess you're fucked. Yeah, nah, I'm all set. I'm a little annoyed, actually. If I'm being perfectly honest with you guys now, because that marks attempt number 2 now that I got fucked over by random number generation again. So... yeah. Yeah, that day could have gone over considerably better had I been able to send people to all of the rooms that they needed to go into. I have maybe one more attempt left in me, and then that's about it. It is now 7:38 at night. I started my recording session around 3:30, 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. And a majority of it has been this, actually. Yeah, majority of all of my failures today have just been completely tied over to what the kids call in the business sheer dumb luck. And given how close the day of release is to the sequel of this game, I'll probably not be completing this game the way that it's looking right now. It is the 13th today, so yeah, exactly. So it's right around the corner what the release day is. Well, let's go ahead and give it another swing then, shall we? What's the worst that could happen, right? I was fucking excited, dude, when we got through this the first time. I was like, yeah, this is great. I can actually, like, I probably have a good chance of getting through this. We just gotta get through Bina's day, and there we go. And then random bullshit happened. Literally nonstop. Like, this right here, this is, like, Day 49 couldn't possibly highlight all of the few flaws that I have found in this game so perfectly in one day. This day perfectly illustrates it. Like, Day 47 was a ball ache, don't get me wrong, but Day 47, after going through the entire everything, I knew right from the get-go a way to beat it. Once shit hit the fan, where I was like, you know what, there is a strategy, there's something that we can do. This is literally just throwing your head at a brick wall and hoping that the fucking... This day, the perfect equivalence of this, right? This is throwing a 20-sided die and hoping to fuck that you roll a 7, nothing else. That is exactly what Day 49 feels like for me right now. This is rolling the dice over and over and over again and hoping that you get a 7. Like a very specific roll. Not like a 15 or above to be able to cut the enemy's armor class down. No, 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 no. This is, you need a 7 on this roll. On top of the very obvious that I won't stop talking about all the time, like slow performance with it, you have to be able to confidently, while the game is still in play, not be able to pause, scroll over to where the goddamn thing spawns for any of the random ordeals, for example. You gotta scroll over, find where the ordeal is, not get your people killed. If the fucking ordeal happens to spawn on top of them, well, fuck you, because if you can't get there in time and be able to move them out of the area, then they're going to die. You could pause to be able to get down to them in time and give yourself a little bit more of a breather, but you could also just kill them in the process doing it too. So more RNG on that. Of course, we got noon right on 5. Well, noon's not gonna work, so this day's a wipe already. See, here I sit in my computer chair, thinking really desperately right now whether or not I feel like going for another run. And when I feel like going for another run, I don't mean it in, like, this recording session. I mean, like, pretty much ever at the moment. My biggest issue with Lobotomy Corporation is in the fact that its mechanics and the way that this game is driven, the RNG factor with so many things happening with the sequence of events, it treats itself as if it's a roguelike game. But it's not a roguelike game, and the big difference between Lobotomy Corporation and that of a roguelike game is that in a roguelike or a roguelite is that the RNG nature of the game is perfectly acceptable. It's meant for you to have a throwaway run, alright, no big deal, you start up the next run. A roguelike game, 9 times out of 10, based off of the way that it is structured in just kind of going over and over and over again until you get that run, it respects your time to an extent because you know what you're expecting when you're going into. This is all thrown out right there. It's very clear. That's the whole entire point of a roguelike game, is the fact of one more run, one more run, one more run. You keep going at it. And this game doesn't respect your time with it in any way, shape, or form because you just restart the day. And then you do the same shit again at the very beginning with the same shit that you have over and over again, and you hope to fucking God that it doesn't screw you over, that this abnormality doesn't escape at the same time with this abnormality, that this abnormality doesn't do this thing in this area of your facility at the time of this thing. This game is a ticking time bomb of unfortunate events in the form of dominoes that will happen over and over and over again, and if the right combination of things, all the time it is that way too, at least for me, happens, it fucks your run. And I'm not okay with that. It's the one thing that has driven me nuts about this game from the get-go. The problem is the combat works. It's perfectly fine. The combat in and of itself is great. It is perfectly predictable on the outcome of the way these things work, even if you get a really shitty roll on what attack that the enemy is that you're sending your characters out to defend from. Even if you're fighting a white fixer and it happens to do its big-ass Pac-Man AoE attack and fuck everybody over, usually the game is forgiving enough where you can deal with it. It's when you start layering in all of these other penalties that you have with the core suppressions where it becomes bullshit. When you have Chesed's random chances of what extra damage that you take 4 to 5 fucking times as much damage from, and then the white fixer decides that it just wants to spam its AoE 14 times. You know what I mean? Like, it's that shit that makes it way worse. And then you combine it with all of the other small annoyances with the game. Not being able to move at peak performance, peak speed, because the game is not well optimized. On top of this, it doesn't work well. You have an amazing idea here, Project Moon, is the problem. The problem is this is such a well-made, well-thought-through game in so many other aspects. And then you take the difficulty aspect of the final 5 days in some of the core suppression mechanics, and you just fell so fucking short with it. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick this one back up again, guys. I don't know if I'm going to play the Library of Runia after this. And I'm not just saying this out of frustration right now. I'm really not. I don't think I can handle going back into this game again and going through this, because right now I am about an hour of gameplay away from actually seeing the end of this game, actually seeing the final cutscenes that I need to do, the last 2 cutscenes of completing day 49 and day 50. And you guys are seeing it right here. I am not being unreasonable about it. The only thing stopping me from being that close, I have sunk in 200 plus hours into Lobotomy Corporation through 2 playthroughs. I have done so much. I have been so patient with this game, even though I have so many times wanted to drop it and never pick it up again, just so that we can get through this game. The only thing stopping me from doing this is hoping to God that I get that run. It's taking me 20 to 30 minutes each run that I am going through in this game. I can't even fucking fast forward to get through the first 5 meltdowns to see if I am properly set up to appropriately deal with Bina, and hope, okay, not even to get the first 5 meltdowns set up where I don't have a noon on it, where this bullshit doesn't happen and all this other stuff. Hope that the meltdowns required to appropriately deal with Bina and then summon the rabbit team to lock her in and deal with her core suppression mechanics ordinarily as they are, and not pause during it, on top of the shoddy performance, on top of the RNG, on top of RNG, on top of RNG, hope that her meltdowns are in the right rooms to send everybody into the rooms and just deal with it immediately, and then send the rabbit team on her. Even if I get this part down flawlessly, and immediately trigger a stun on Bina when she spawns in on the 5th meltdown and I get lucky on that, I still need to get lucky and deal with the shitty performance to get everybody around the facility, again, in the right hallways, to send them into the 2nd and the 3rd stage of meltdowns to keep the rabbit team from dying, having to take her out. This is the thing that I am looking at right now on paper, and I'm like, do I want to do this? Do I actually want to subject myself to doing this? Because I could get it done in one run. I could get incredibly lucky and do it in the next run. And I really hope that that's the case, and I really want to, and I know that that's a possibility. But I could also be at this for the next 2 days, hours on end, doing run after run after run after run, and continually fail like the last 3 attempts. And I don't think that I can handle that. I have spent way too much time in this game. Just to really quickly reiterate for all of you guys, in case anybody is wondering, I am aware of the fact that I have the backwards clock and how useful that it is for day 49, and that you're supposed to just go all out, and if you lose everybody, then oh well, you lose everybody. I've tried, but like all of the runs that I have done, it's just, I lose so many people, or there's so much shit going on that I can't actually deal with it to get the day over with, and that's the problem with it. I've seen 2 runs. One of them involved the backwards clock, where somebody had cleared all of the second wave meltdowns with it, and then just took Bina out afterwards with their own team. These people that, the people that were in this person's facility, mind you, were all 130 to 140 in every one of their stats. So whatever this person did, they made all of their characters literal gods in their facility. Just want to put that one out there. And in the first run, somebody had just zoomed all the way out. They had nobody in extraction team. They zoomed all the way out and just kept having everybody send off to do different works from the actual hubs, like from the actual rooms themselves, to be able to deal with it. And Bina went downstairs into architecture, which for some reason doesn't seem to have meltdowns. I'm not sure if this is accurate, but it doesn't seem to. I tried this same exact strategy, and of course, naturally, she went fucking upstairs in a disciplinary and not downstairs. So that fucked me over right there. And then they locked her in with the rabbit team on the bottom floor, of course. So that didn't work for me. But I have tried these strategies and tried to replicate things that I've seen other people do. And mind you, every single one of these runs of people beating day 49, they don't have an ordeal of white on the 5th meltdown. So that degree of RNG is still something there. Every one of these clears doesn't have an ordeal on the 5th meltdown. It's still a waste of time, and it's still RNG based, so my point is still valid for that. I just want to make sure that that's in the video somewhere. I thought about it while I was in post. So I think I'm gonna cut it here, guys. As much as it fucking pains me to do this, me as a gamer personally, when I hit this point, when I hit this level of aggravation, I don't continue any further down the road that way. As much as it kills me to have to do that for this Let's Play, I think it's better if I just put it down and just look up the cutscenes for it and come back to it maybe later on as just playing through the game for the game, to do the actual just managing the facility stuff. And forget about day 46 to 50 and pretend like it never happened. I actually know what happens on day 50, by the way, guys. I actually looked it up ahead of time. Turns out it just rotates as you hit certain meltdowns. The whole entire, like, the viewpoint of the facility just rotates. And I think you still have the white fixers to deal with as the day goes through. And after a certain number of meltdowns, eventually you just have the seed germination that happens over time. I would love nothing more than to experience this game the way that it is meant to be experienced, because Lobotomy Corporation really, as a game, Lobotomy Corporation fails in so many different things, and it is not a good game. But I can't look at Lobotomy Corporation as just a game. It's like rating fucking Doki Doki Literature Club as just a game, when it's a visual novel and an experience. It's something that you're meant to go through from beginning to end. You're supposed to feel... And I get it. The game is structured around its story and all of that other shit. I get it. They had an idea of what they wanted to do. They really wanted the player to feel that dread, that existential dread of there's no fucking way that this is possible, but there's that tiny glint of hope that you have that maybe the next one will do it. Maybe the next one. I get it on an artistic standpoint, but as a game, this game is the most insufferable fucking thing that I have ever played in my life. And this is comparing it to Escape from Tarkov. And this is my problem with the game right here. This is the biggest problem with the game. And I will be making a video pulling this game apart at the seams later on down the line, guys. I love Lobotomy Corporation. I absolutely do. I am so fucking passionate about this game. I would not have gone through this game for the 200 plus hours if I didn't like the game. I'm not just trying to shit on it, but as a game, as solely a game, just what you have right here to work off of, mechanically, as a fucking person who has played games before I could practically even read and write. It's a bad fucking game. It really is. It is a below average game. And it sucks, and it is so painfully, it hurts me so much to have to say it because it's so good in so many different aspects, but the package as a whole, the game is a bad game. It really is, because there's just so many different mechanics that just don't fucking work for what you have right here. They don't work. Maybe if the game ran a little bit better, I wouldn't be feeling as annoyed about it as I do. But the problem is it does. There are so many different things that don't work in this game. There are so many bugs that can cost you employees possibly the entire day when shit happens. There's so many fucking bugs and stupid shit that can happen. It's so annoying to go through the entire day for a 30 to 60 minute day in this game, and then a bug causes you to lose your best employee because of some stupid unforeseen fucking happenstance. Just, as a game, it doesn't work. So, I know I went through so much fucking effort and all that other shit in the last episode where I was like, hey guys, we can finally get through the game, but we're not gonna get through the game. And I'm sorry guys, I can't. It physically hurts me. It really does. I don't even know how long this rant has gone on for that I've been on, guys, but like that comes straight from the heart right there. Unscripted, right off of the bat, just this is truly how I feel about the game right now. I could go back into it several times, and you know what? Say I go back into it, and the next run is the run, and I do go through it, and I don't have any problems beyond that point. It doesn't matter. What I feel right now is still genuine. This still isn't invalid. It doesn't make it invalidated because I go through it, and it just happens to work the next time, and I just sucked it up and went through it. It still sucked to go through it. And this game could be so much better. It just could. It could be so much fucking better as a game. So, yes, on that final note, we're done here, guys. This is gonna wrap up the Lobotomy Corporation Let's Play. I'm done. I don't know if I'm going to play their sequel. Mostly because I don't know if I should even spend money on another game right now. Not so much because I'm aggravated and don't want to play the next game. I like the way that the combat and everything else about the gameplay seems to work in the Library of Ruina, but I don't think that I'm going to go into it at the exact moment in time. I may surprise you guys and jump into it, though, but don't expect it. So, this is my thoughts and feelings about Lobotomy Corporation, and I'm so sorry for you guys for disappointing you in not getting through it. I can't deal with it. It's too much suffering for the payout that it could be when I can just go to fucking YouTube and look up the cutscenes and get the same goddamn experience that I would. The only difference is that I know that I didn't get through the game when I watch these cutscenes. That's the only fucking difference, is I know it wasn't me that got through the game. And it'll make me feel like shit to some extent because I couldn't do it. I just couldn't make it through 50 days of the fucking game. And it pisses me off that I could not do it. But I can. I can. But I don't want to. I really don't want to. Every inkling of my body in fucking soul and feelings doesn't want to do it. I have tried so hard, but alas, I can't. So, fuck, man. Alright. I will see you guys in the next one. I have other projects to work on. Hey there, guys. So, I couldn't quite articulate a good point that I was trying to get across during the rant at the end of that recording session, so here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and put it here. The best way to explain a lot of my frustration with this game as well is it kind of just reminds me... I don't think that I'm going to play the... first off, let me start off with, I don't think I'm going to play the Library of Ruin. I started looking at it again, and then I realized a very important thing while I was looking at it, which led me to do this post-recording here. This was something that I had learned a long time ago while playing a game that some of you may know as Dear Esther. Now, Dear Esther, if you guys don't know, is a walking simulator. A walking simulator with a very vague but interesting sounding story towards the background of it, and as you're walking, you're kind of just hearing like these almost philosophical things and such that are just being mentioned the whole entire time as you're walking, which is cool and interesting as it is. But the problem with Dear Esther that I had way back then when I had played it on this channel, and that a lot of people have with Dear Esther, is that, plain and simply put, when it comes to a video game, and many people share the same viewpoint with me as well, if you don't, then that's perfectly fine. But as a video game, when you try to put a good story into it, and the fact that it is a video game all in of itself right there, it needs to have some level of engagement with it. It has to be an enjoyable and interesting game to play, to be able to want to absorb that story. If it doesn't capture that person in a way where they even want to play the game and they're only in it for the story, and the game itself isn't that great, then it falls short. Nobody starts to care about the story as much for it. A better way to really put this is, imagine the Dark Souls series. For anybody who is a fan of it, and here I'm doing that thing again where I'm comparing everything to Dark Souls, but the vast majority of people who really enjoy Dark Souls, they don't buy the next Souls game so that they can get the next piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of my decision-making behind not playing the Library of Ruina, is I shouldn't buy this next game just so that I can get another piece of the puzzle for the story in Lobotomy Corporation. You guys understand what I mean by that? Because Lobotomy Corporation, as fun and interesting as it was at first, it started to fade and wane very quickly when I saw a lot of the underlying problems with the mechanics and the way that the game fundamentally works. And I started not caring about the game, but I suffered through Lobotomy because I wanted to know more about the story, the characters, what happened to Carmen, what happened to Angela, and all of this other stuff. It was so intriguing to me. I fell into the rabbit hole of the lore that is in this world, but unfortunately, the game is just so lackluster to the point where I just can't keep going at it for just the story if I don't enjoy the game that much. And it's true, it's fact. I don't enjoy playing Lobotomy Corporation. It's very clear, and it's a fucking shame. It really is. I should be enjoying this game to some extent where I can rationalize dealing with the problems with it to be able to get that next piece of story. And I'm afraid that if I get the Library of Ruina, I'm going to fall into the same problem again. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want to suffer through another game just because I want to know more about their universe. These guys, Project Moon, you guys are really excellent at making a storyline in a world that's vague that people can give a shit about. And this is... a lot of it can be subjective. I'm sure there are a lot of objective points that you can pull apart about their story writing being ass, but for me, for the way that it is, the subtlety and the storytelling, it's very easy to give a shit about all of the characters that become the Saphira, all of the characters that are in the story, and wondering who the fuck A is the whole entire time. There's an extraordinary amount of character development that happens with every character in the game, their problems, their shortcomings, and how they overcome it to all reach a common goal by the end. And it's such a shame that the game is just that fucking painful for me to play that I don't want to deal with that anymore. And that's just the best way that I can explain it to you guys, is I'm not going to buy another game or go through a game that is just painful to play just because I want to know about the storyline. And most gamers don't do that. The vast majority of people that I know, especially too, they don't play games just for the story and not care that it's a shitty game to play. And it fucking pains me so much to have to say that about Lobotomy because I love it so much. But the game just sucks to play. It really does. It sucks to play Lobotomy. It really does. So I feel like if it happens in their sequel, I'm gonna lose my shit. So yeah, we're just gonna end it right here, guys. So that should articulate everything properly for what I'm saying. So this is the official end of Lobotomy Corporation and everything involving it. So thank you guys so much for joining me this far, and I'm so fucking sorry to disappoint you to not reaching all the way through to the actual conclusion on my own. I'm gonna look up the final everything to it, maybe in the Sinvicta playthrough. Maybe he's gone through the game. I don't know. I think he's on like playthrough 6 of the game, so maybe he has a lot of the same issue that I have with Lobotomy Corporation. I know that he restarted his entire game because he encountered an issue that wiped his entire data, speaking of bugs with the game. So, I don't know. I'll see you guys later, though. And just one more time, thank you for joining for this. I'm so fucking sorry that I couldn't just get through it, but I just can't. Alright? So, until the next project.